Money Moves with Myth 2.0, the podcast. And always remember, gentlemen, it's a motherfucking movie. So today we're going to answer the question: are American people actually living in storage units? So, guys, before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and let's hop straight into the content.
So if you're going to live in a storage unit, you're going to need to be as invisible as you possibly can be. You basically need to be a ghost. If anybody finds out you're here, that's when you start running into trouble. So first of all, I needed power for my unit. So what I did is I ran an extension cord along the
Hold on, let's restart that.
So if you're going to live in a storage unit, you're going to need to be as invisible as you possibly can be. You basically need to be a ghost. If anybody finds out you're here, that's when you start running into trouble. So first of all, I needed power for my unit. So what I did is I ran an extension cord along the power cable up here, and I sort of zip tied it up.
That's crazy. Like this dude, it's unique. Um, he took this extension cord and to run power to his storage unit. He plugged it up, and he had to. I know he had to get on the ladder and put all that up there. And zip tied it. Took his time, zip tied it. So really, like, if you don't know nothing about this building, you 9 times out of 10 you probably wouldn't even notice the power running to his unit. But let's keep it moving.
You can't really tell its power is going to my unit unless you are looking closely. So this is my unit here, and at the top of the unit you can see I have an antenna, and that's so I can get a cell signal inside the unit itself, because once you close the door it drops all signal. I have a lock which I've magnetized onto the door so it looks like it's locked even when it's not. And then when I actually do want to lock it, I can just use this lock or use another one down here and leave that one there.
That's crazy. You know, is this really a thing? American people um becoming homeless and deciding to live in a storage unit. I guess what, like, when you think about rent is like 1,200, 1,800 bucks just for a 2 bedroom. And I guess you could save some money, if you don't get caught, because you're not supposed to sleep in a storage unit. But like he said, if you become invisible, then you possibly have a way to save money where you can go to work, and you know you probably is just gonna pay like 200 a month, for a big unit. 'Cause I'm pretty sure you're gonna want a big unit or whatever, you know, to move around. And hopefully the person who's doing this doesn't have any snoring problems, because people will hear you. But let's keep it moving.
Alright, so let's take a look at the unit now. So in here I've got my TV, entertainment
He got everything in there, bro.
center set up there. I've got my bed. I've got my kitchen area over there, complete with a fridge, and my couch over here. Once you're inside here, you can close the door, and I've screwed on a latch here so that way you can close it and sort of lock it from the inside. I've also put a mirror up so you can see.
Hey guys, this is insane. This, like, who needs an apartment? Single dude or female, you know, living on the low, doing something that's really not legal, but it's not like you're doing something heinous either. 9 times out of 10, the only thing that's going to happen to you if you end up renting out a storage unit is you might get banned from that storage complex or whatever, you know. But at the same time, like I've been homeless before and I have slept in a storage unit before. It wasn't as big as this one, but when it was a cold night, I didn't have no blankets and stuff like that. And the storage unit was climate control and stuff like that. So like I did that for like a couple weeks or whatever, you know. But he got everything he needs. He got enough room to move around, a place to get a little rest at night. He can watch TV, which I don't know how that's gonna work with the noise and stuff like that, you know. But it can work. You just hope you don't get caught. But let's keep it moving.
What you're doing. Up here I've got a toaster oven, and this toaster oven actually works pretty well. I'd say it works just as well as a conventional oven. I've got some dishes over here. I've got some more pots and pans over here, and my fridge is right here. Underneath I've got a filing cabinet, some tools, and some storage for some other stuff I have. Up on this part of the kitchen I have cutting board so I can make some lunch or dinner there. I have a hot plate for...
Hey man, it's the Holiday Inn right here. This is actually better than a hotel room. Like if you're gonna hook it up the way, if you were homeless and you was kind of clean and quiet, whatever, you was trying to come up, so you trying to save money and stuff like that, and I see no issue with this. I mean, there is an issue, liabilities and stuff, you're cooking and stuff, and you can cause a fire or whatever. But for a homeless person sleeping outside, it gets cold at 1, 2 in the morning. If you're in the summertime, like it gets cold outside. The wintertime it gets cold as well. And finding a place to sleep alone where you don't have to go to a homeless shelter, which is most of them usually are disgusting, and they got a bunch of crazy people there. This might be a way out for some people, but I think a lot of people have caught on to this by now. But let's keep it moving.
Boiling water, cereal. Up here is the Tupperware, and then over here I've got a food cupboard with all my food. And this is the sink I've built, and the sink is basically like a 25-liter container filled with water, and I've attached these tubes here, so you just open it up, and then the water comes down this tube and out there. So you've got running water, you can do dishes, get a drink, whatever, and then the water filters into this bucket, which goes down into these holes here, which goes into a funnel, which leads into a...
Man, who is this dude right now, right here, man? I'm telling you, I do not think nobody can outdo this man with the storage unit game. This man got a whole microwave, got a hot plate, got free electricity, got a place to sleep where he ain't got to get rained on at nighttime, and he's actually safe. The other people who is in this storage unit probably just come through to, throw some stuff in there and stuff. So most of the time there's no traffic, you know. Um, this is insane, but let's keep it moving.
Separate container here. And I usually find I have to empty that container and refill that one, usually once a week, maybe twice. So over here above the bed, I've built a bar, and this is just to hold all my liquor and drinks and everything. But I've also got stuff at the back there behind the bed. So what I've done is I've built this little hinge here. This comes out, and then the hinge drops down, and then that can hold in place while you go and get whatever you need to from back there. Over here I've built a clothing rack, and this works just like it would in any closet. You put your clothes there, except I've included this little latch here on this string so you can push the clothing further to the wall, giving you more space. Up here I've built some shelving for some items that I'm storing in here that I don't really use too much. I got my snowboard hanging from the ceiling there. And as you can see, all the stuff I've built in here is all built basically hanging from the ceiling. And the way I did that is I just got 2x4s, really long 2x4s, and put them all the way across the unit. And then I used L brackets to build shelving down from that. So the lighting system here is these are all like Philips Hue lights. So you can just turn them on and off with either your smartphone app or this wireless switch here. And of course I do have my...
Oh man, this homeless guy has it made. You gotta say, sometimes you gotta take risks to become successful. You know what I'm saying? I can't knock this right here. You know, I think it's unique. I think like later in my homeless stint, I learned about the storage units and stuff like that, but I didn't really stay in there too long. But you know, for somebody who is not trying to make it permanent and stuff like that, if you can, the longer you can get away with it and actually save money at the same time, you know. When you hook your storage unit up like the way he has his, then I say go for it. But guys, this is all I got for the video. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you guys on the next video. Over and out.